Africa is where the incredible journey of humankind began. Millions of years ago, our earliest ancestors took their first steps on African soil. This makes Africa the birthplace of humanity. Many archaeological discoveries have proven this. They tell the story of our shared heritage. From these humble beginnings, humans spread throughout the world. They carried with them the legacy of Africa. The African continent boasts incredible geographical diversity. From the Sahara Desert to lush rainforests, Africa has it all. This diverse environment played a crucial role in human evolution. It shaped our development and survival. Over countless generations, humans adapted to the challenges and opportunities of this land. They developed unique cultures, languages, and ways of life. Africa's ancient history is a tapestry of rich and diverse civilizations. Long before recorded history, Africans were making remarkable advancements in agriculture, art, and social organization. These ancient societies laid the foundation for the continent's later empires and kingdoms. They left behind a legacy of innovation and cultural brilliance. The Nile River, the longest river in the world, flows through the heart of Africa. It has been a source of life and inspiration for millennia. The ancient Egyptians, who thrived along the Nile's fertile banks, created one of the world's most influential civilizations. Their achievements in architecture, mathematics, and astronomy continue to amaze us today. The ancient Egyptians were not alone in their brilliance. Across the continent, other powerful empires rose and flourished. The kingdom of Kush, located in present-day Sudan, rivaled Egypt in its power and influence. The Kushites were skilled warriors, ironworkers, and traders. Further west, along the Mediterranean coast, the Phoenicians established Carthage. Carthage became a major maritime power. In West Africa, the Mali Empire rose to prominence under Mansa Musa. His legendary pilgrimage to Mecca showcased Mali's wealth. In southern Africa, Great Zimbabwe stands as a testament to the Shona people's skills. The city's ruins continue to inspire awe and wonder. Africa's history is deeply intertwined with the rest of the world through trade, cultural exchange, and the spread of ideas. The trans-Saharan trade routes which crisscrossed the Sahara Desert connected North Africa to the rest of the continent. These routes facilitated the exchange of goods, knowledge, and beliefs for centuries. Gold, salt, ivory, and slaves were some of the most valuable commodities traded across the Sahara. The wealth generated by this trade had a profound impact on the development of powerful empires in West Africa. Cities like Timbuktu and Jena became important centers of learning and commerce. The arrival of Islam in North Africa in the 7th century AD had a significant impact on the continent. Muslim traders and scholars played a crucial role in spreading the Islamic faith across the Sahara and into West Africa. Islam had a profound influence on African societies, shaping their legal systems, art, architecture, and social customs. The spread of Islam in Africa was a peaceful process. It often involved the blending of Islamic traditions with existing African beliefs and practices. This led to the development of unique and vibrant Islamic cultures across the continent. Section 4. The Tragedy of the Slave Trade. The transatlantic slave trade stands as one of the darkest chapters in human history. It inflicted unimaginable suffering on Africa and its people. Between the 16th and 19th centuries, millions of Africans were forcibly transported across the Atlantic Ocean. They were sold into slavery in the Americas. European powers, driven by greed and a thirst for profit, established vast plantations in the Americas. They relied on enslaved African labor to cultivate crops like sugar, cotton, and tobacco. The transatlantic slave trade decimated African societies. It tore families apart and robbed millions of their freedom and dignity. The legacy of slavery continues to cast a long shadow on the world today. It fueled the rise of racism and inequality. The descendants of enslaved Africans continue to fight for justice and equality in many parts of the world. The horrors of the slave trade should never be forgotten. It is a stark reminder of the capacity for cruelty that exists within humanity. We must learn from this dark chapter in our past. We must strive to create a more just and equitable world for all. Section 5. The Fight for Freedom and the Legacy of Colonialism. Despite the horrors of the slave trade, the spirit of the African people remained unbroken. Resistance to slavery and colonialism took many forms, from armed uprisings to acts of cultural preservation. Throughout the 19th and 20th centuries, Africans fought tirelessly for their freedom and independence. The end of World War II marked a turning point in the struggle against colonialism. African nations, inspired by the principles of self-determination, launched a wave of independence movements. One by one, European colonies in Africa gained their independence. However, the legacy of colonialism continued to cast a long shadow over the continent. Many African nations were left with weak economies, artificial borders, and political instability. The challenges of post-colonial development proved to be immense. Despite these challenges, Africa has made remarkable progress in recent decades. Many African countries have experienced significant economic growth. They are making strides in education, healthcare, and infrastructure development. Africa is a continent on the rise. It is home to a young and vibrant population. With its abundant natural resources, entrepreneurial spirit, and growing middle class, Africa is poised to play an increasingly important role in the 21st century.